probably one of the most competitive, energetic little kids ever. I had to win. I loved it. I loved going to practice. I loved being able to run around and just learn how to do tricks and flips and things like that. It was so fun for me. Your coach is like a mom or dad to you. They teach you everything you need to know, get you prepared for competing. They treat you like a child, and you know that they care about you. And they told us that I was going to go to the Olympics and that I was awesome, and if I would just go to his gym and train with him, I could go places. And that's when things started to change. He told me I was his favorite and would like bring me little gifts and stuff. And I thought that was cool. I was like, yeah, I'm the favorite. But then along with that came the sexual abuse. And when you're 11 years old, 10 years old, when that stuff was happening to me, it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. So inside I was kind of screaming. I was trying to be an ordinary girl. He was trying to implement himself into our lives like nothing was different, just to make sure that they had his complete trust. He would come to church with us, he'd come to baseball games with us, he would come hang out, just try to get himself in. It went on for over a year, and I was carrying this, and I was innocent. I didn't know what was happening, and he said no one's gonna like me, and he said that he'll get in trouble and it'll be my fault, and no one's gonna want to be my friend, so I can't really tell anyone, but I don't want to be here anymore. As a little kid, I didn't think people would hurt people intentionally. I didn't know people would hurt children sexually. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think people had that intent in them. Child molesters aren't people in trench coats, watching your kids play in the park. It's an ordinary person that you know, and it happens more than you would like to think. I got a stress fracture in my back, and that is what provided me the chance to get out of the gym, to not have to go to practice. I had a back brace on for 4 months, and that allowed me the space to get away from the situation I was in. And during that time, I had told my parents that I wanted to quit gymnastics. I didn't want to do it anymore. Please let me quit. I don't want to go. So we told my coach I was going to quit. He drove to my house in his tumble bus, which was a bus that he had turned into like a little gym for little kids, which freaks me out. He drove to my house with another gymnast and was crying, and you can't quit, you have to come back. And I didn't want to, and it was that moment that my mom realized, why is a grown man, a 36-year-old man, coming to my house crying that my 12-year-old daughter wants to quit gymnastics? There's something going on. I was in the kitchen with my mom. She was at the sink doing something, and I had my back turned to her. I was somewhere else, and she just asked me, and she said, Becca, has Mark been touching you inappropriately? And I just turned around and I just started crying, and I just said, yes, Mom, he has, and I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know what to say. It never crossed her mind until that moment. So when she asked me, I was able to open everything up and tell her what happened. And I was embarrassed. I remember that I felt embarrassed because of what had happened to me, but an overwhelming sense of relief. That I had someone I could talk to finally. That someone who knew what had happened to me, and that I was no longer alone. And she immediately, she told me it wasn't my fault, and I sat in her lap and we cried together. And she told me it wasn't my fault. At the time, I didn't realize how big of an impact the Advocacy Center was going to have on my life. But like they say, retrospect's 20/20. I can look back and honestly say they became another part of my life, and an extended family, you could say. Coming here and having people other than my family who believed me, who supported me, who told me it wasn't my fault multiple times. I just remember, that's one of the main things I remember, is them telling me over and over, it's not your fault, we believe you. It was another flood of relief that I knew my family would believe me. I knew they would always support me, but I didn't know about people elsewhere. And being able to come here to a place that I felt comfortable, I felt like the people here cared about me, and they wanted me to succeed, and they wanted me to grow, and they wanted me to be able to get through this trial, and then they wanted me to just continue in life and not let this be a stopping point for me. The court advocate, she was in the courtroom whenever I testified. She would actually move on the bench because someone sat in front of her, so I couldn't see her. She would move over to make sure I had complete eye contact with her, that I could look at her when I got nervous or scared. And it was probably one of the best services that they offered for me that I remember the most from my trial. At the end of my trial, after all was said and done, after the sentencing, I felt very empowered. I knew that justice had prevailed, and I knew that I did what I was supposed to do, and that I helped people who could have been future victims. And knowing that alone, that empowered me. If this is happening to you, I know how you feel. Tell your parents, tell someone, because it's not your fault. And the longer you feel that way, the harder it's going to be. And I just wanted people to know that you can get through this. This is not who you are. This does not define who you are. Yes, this happened to you, but you can't let it be who you are.